Relationship grief is a real thing. Hi guys, I am back with another video. This will be the final video that I talk about grief in. And in this video, I will be speaking about relationship grief. This is not going to be several videos. I am going to try to sum this up in one video only. But some may not feel like it, but oftentimes people grieve relationships. And I'm going to speak about it because I am one of them people. I was grieving the loss of a friendship, of a relationship, and of a future marriage. So everybody takes breakups in different ways, and this particular relationship was a long-term relationship. I start by saying there was fault on both ends of the relationship. I take full responsibility for the role that I played in. I can't speak for him, but I can speak for me. There are things that I could have done better, and there are things that he could have done better. No, we are not in a bad space. There's no hate there because we also share a child. So sometimes I just chalk it up to sometimes things just don't work out. Okay, so when you grieve in a relationship, it's very different from grief when you lost someone, when someone has passed away. But those same stages of grief that you go through when you lose somebody is the same stages that you go through when you are grieving a relationship. You still go through all those phases of grief, just in a different way. I had times where I was in denial about the whole thing. Like, it's fine. We gonna work through it. We always do. I was in denial for a while. I'm not sure exactly how long, but I was in denial for a while. I think that we both were in denial for a while about where we stood. At some point in time, I was angry. I was mad about a lot of things that transpired, feeling like, hey, I was going through depression as well. I was having days where I was shoulda, coulda, woulda, what if, the different possibilities of what could have been, where we should be right now in our life and in our relationship. I went through all those emotions. Some days I was crying days at a time just from feeling like I failed. Like I failed myself, like I failed him. And I don't know if anybody else has felt like this, but I also felt like I failed our children. Because yes, we have a son together, but we raised my other kids together as well. Because my girls, like I speak upon in one of my previous videos, their father is deceased. But my son's father has helped raise them since they were little girls. Since my youngest was 1, and I think my oldest was 5 or 6 at the time. But anyway, so I felt like I failed my kids because our kids had expectations of us. Our kids have always been in the home where both of us were there for everything. And a lot of times I felt like I let them down, like we both let them down. I did get to a place where I was finally like, okay, in acceptance of what was transpiring, the changes that our life was going through, and figuring out where our compromise was to come in at, so that we can have a healthy relationship for the sake of our kids. And I had to do some real work with that. As I stated, I was going through it. So it was like, I did get to a point where I accepted what transpired. I accepted that we were no longer going to be a family, that we were no longer going to be in a relationship. And at first I wasn't very accepting of it. I was going through phases of anger, going through phases of depression, going through phases where I felt like it was the end of the world that we didn't fix what was broken. But I ultimately got to a place where we can coexist and be there the best we both know how for the kids. Because at the end of all of this, the most important thing was for both of us, I think, was to make sure the kids was happy and make sure that the kids understood that even though we were no longer together, that we would always be there for them, and that we are always going to be family, and will always put their needs above everything else, especially for our son, because he had never seen us apart. He's always had us both. So it was a hard transition for him, but ultimately we made it where he was okay with what was transpiring, and he loves both of his parents. It took some time, but he is okay. Another thing that I felt like I was in a space where I felt like I'm done with relationships. I don't want to do it anymore. I have been in 2 serious relationships in my life, one of which was with my girl's father, and one of which was with my son's dad. Both were long-term relationships. They were 2 different type of situations, 2 different type of love, but ultimately they both were long-term relationships that I was in. I learned a lot in both situations, and I had came to a place where I just felt like a relationship is not what I want to do anymore. I've been there, I've done that, and I don't want to do it again. And it wasn't one of those things where I felt like, oh, I'm strong, I'm independent, I don't need a man, yada, yada, yada. It was not that. It was more so of me feeling like, hey, do you want to have to get to know someone else again? Do you want to take that walk of learning someone new? Do you want to take those emotional journey again? And I just felt like at the time, I was like, no, I don't. This is not what I want to do. And sometimes I still feel like that, but there are moments when I am feeling like maybe I do want that again. You know, I know that I'm deserving of a happy, healthy, and loving relationship. I know that because I know who I am and I know what I bring to the table. But there's some days where I'm like, baby, I don't want to have to learn another man again. I really feel like, is it worth going through those emotions again? But then I have days where I am, say for instance, I want to go out of town, or I want to go out to a movie or out to eat. And yes, I have done solo dates. Solo dates is the best. You need them. They are great for you. Not just a woman, sometimes men too. You need solo dates. You need to sit with yourself. You need to know you and know what makes you happy for yourself, not based off of a man, not based off of a woman. You need to know what you do that makes you happy alone as a person. So I love solo dates, don't get me wrong, but there are days when I be like, damn, I want to go out and have a good time with my man and, chill. Go to eat, maybe go to bowling, go to a movie, take a ride, anything. And it's like, I ain't got no man right now. But it's like, I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it. I'm not looking for anything, but I am not against anything either. If love happens to find me, I am willing. If it finds me, I'm not looking. But if it finds me, which usually, that's how most things play out for me, because I am a Cancer and I am an introvert and I am sort of on the shy side. So I would never be the person to seek out somebody. If someone doesn't approach me, I'm not approaching nobody. I have never been that person. And some may say it's childish, call it what you want. I just never been that person. I've always been reserved and to myself. If a person is seeking me out, they really got to say it to me, because a lot of times I be so nonchalant to stuff that my sister will be like, you don't see that he flirting with you, and I just be like, Like, you got to put it in my face and let me know it. Because if you don't let me know it, I'm not going to lie, I'm clueless when it comes to stuff like that. I've never been that person. I am a lover girl. I love love. I love intimacy, not just, in that capacity. I mean, intimacy like my love language is touch. Whether it be a hug, us just being cuddled, those type of things is what I mean when I say intimacy. I love conversation. I love for a person that can express themselves fully, and we can have a adult conversation about anything. I like to talk about a lot of different things, especially when it's with the mate. We have to be able to communicate about all things. I be wanting to talk about so many different things. My mind is one of those people. I'm always trying to figure out what's my next move, what's going to give me the next best outcome. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to make this better. My mind is always going at a mile a minute. So it's like, I need somebody to be able to match that energy. I need somebody that can reciprocate those type of conversations, that type of intimacy. I am a lover's girl. Always have been. But where I am in my life right now, I just don't know that I want to step out there and try to do it again. But that's why I said I'm not against it, but I'm not searching for it either. And it's like, I will say this, when you are grieving a relationship, you need to be fully healed before you step into another relationship. Because if you are not fully healed, you are walking into a situation and you put in what you had and the baggage that you had from your last relationship, you bringing it into your new relationship, whether you know it or not. And you can say, oh, these not the same people, it's not going to happen. You are absolutely bringing baggage from your last relationship to your new relationship if you did not fully heal yourself from within before jumping into a new relationship. And that was another thing that I always said to myself, before I do, if I do get into another situation, I want it to be fully healed. And for my mind and my heart to be ready for something new. So I'm suggesting that if you are coming out of a relationship, please don't just jump into nothing new. Make sure you are healed. Make sure you are healed from the heart and healed in your mind, because you don't want to damage your new relationship before it ever really gets started. And if you don't heal, you absolutely is going to put some damage on your new relationship. I'll have some new videos coming soon. And you guys, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video.